give a hard welcome to our guests today. And Bravo is a unique place. It's a very special place in the east side of Los Angeles. And every year we change. We change because we get new students. We get about 500, 400 students that come in as ninth graders. And we also get new staff sometimes. This year we have a brand new batch of staff to Bravo. And so we'll get a chance to meet them, to hear from them about their ideas, their background, and their expectations and hopes for Bravo. And so without further ado, I also want to welcome again my co-host, Samantha, who will be co-hosting with me for this premiere broadcast of the Good Night podcast. So let's start, and I'm going to ask every one of our guests to introduce themselves and let us know what their name is and what they teach, where their room is here at Bravo. Starting with Mr.
Hi, I'm Mr. Zhao. I'm a first-year teacher here, first year at the district. I'm RSP teacher. My room is 511. That's my conference room, and I also do tutoring over there. I just recently got transferred to room 304, so you can find me over there. And look forward to speaking and meeting all of you.
Hi, my name's Ms. Lee, and I am an assistant principal, one of the 4 assistant principals here. And my office is in the attendance office.
Hi everyone, I'm Ms. Perez, first year here at Bravo. I'm actually returning because I graduated here from 08. In 08, first year teacher. I've been at Wilson for the last year, and I'm just really happy to be back. I'm in room 321 on the 3rd floor.
Hello everyone, my name is Gabriela Guerra, another assistant principal and my office is in the main office, next to Martinez's office.
I also want Samantha to introduce herself as our new co-host.
My name's Samantha. Most people on campus know me as Sam. I think this podcast is going to be really cool.
So without further ado, one of the things when I was a teacher, I have a lot of fond memories of the time when I was a teacher here at Bravo. We create lots of memories on a daily basis. We change lives. In what ways do you think so far you have maybe changed someone's lives, or maybe you have had an opportunity to contribute, or maybe you have an experience that you think is fun to share, and any one of you can start with your sharing of your experience so far here at Bravo.
I had a very meaningful experience when I RSP teacher. I visit students in the classroom and I help the students that are on my caseload particularly.
Being an alum, there's a lot of fun memories from this place. I think that's part of the reason I wanted to come back, right? Remind, if not show these kids what Bravo was all about, and it was community. A lot of what I do is community. But the most memorable thing there's been a lot of memorable things that have happened so far, but the most memorable one was when I told students the first day of school, I graduated here in 08, and the faces on my freshmen were like, I was born that year. And I was like, no! And I was like, well, that's what it is, right? Because a lot of my friends who I've graduated with are now having kids, are now going through the LAUSD system, and it's funny because they saw that I was back at Bravo. They're like, oh my God, is so-and-so there? Is so-and-so there? And a lot of teachers have, they've retired, they've gone on and done things. And when they hear who's here, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe. I was like, Bravo is a little pod where nobody ages. Ms. Mark has not aged a day, Mr. Rodriguez, and I'm still Mr. because it's so you're my teacher, I can't call you by your first name. But they don't age, and I'm like, please, that's so good.
It's true, we don't age.
I was here, but I'm like, that is wild. I want some of that to rub off on me, like skincare.
Well, I also want to share. So part of my responsibilities is to manage the intervention programs here at Bravo. But one of the things that I really like to be part of is the SSPT, Student support team where we look at the cases that are very challenging regarding students having social emotional issues, academic issues. So I'm part of this team that where it's counselors, teachers, parents, and the student itself. We are together to develop plans of actions to help and support the students succeed at Bravo, because we know that high school life is very, very stressful and it's hard. So being part of that team, it makes me feel like I can help someone finish their their high school and go to college. And if don't go to college, that's fine. At least to have a career pathway where the student can develop and be happy at the end of the day.
And just the fact that you're hearing the PA announcements tells you that we're legit. We're not making this up. We're in a real school. Things happen.
Yeah, I also really appreciate being a member of the student support and success team. And I also work with attendance and safety and positive behavior, which is all kind of connected to that. And I've really appreciate some of the students that I've been able to work with for, helping them to find ways to cope with stress, to cope with sometimes frustrations, and to find more positive ways to interact when somebody is maybe hurtful for them. So, and as well with attendance and with safety, just making sure that everybody is able to be successful here, as successful as they can be. It's been really interesting visiting some of the classrooms, seeing some of the thinking and ideas that students are, and content that students are learning, working with some of the teachers to figure out ways to further students' learning. And also, what I really appreciate is when students come and say hello and smile. So I see them in the morning when they come in. So thank you for those of you who say hello.
I'd like to add on to what Ms. Guerra said. My parents have always raised me with the idea that if I finish high school and I don't want to go to college, then I have other options. But as long as I have the basis that I think I get at Bravo, that if I don't want to go to college, to go on and have a good job and to be able to support myself. And I like this feeling here at Bravo, how I feel supported even if I don't want to go to college. Then there's always pathways and people there to help me.
That's
I'd like to thank you for that.
As long as you are a productive member of society and you're happy, that's all I think a mother asks for. And also us as an educator. So
I love the fact that at Bravo we have a huge, not a huge, but the diversity here is amazing. We have representation from different groups, different types of students. We have students who are shy, students who are outgoing, athletic kids, artistic kids, academically oriented kids of all types, right? And we have a lot of languages spoken here. What do you think you as an individual contribute that is specific or that is unique to you? Or what is what is a contribution that you think you would like to have or are already making to the Bravo community, to the uniqueness and the diversity of our student body? This is a quiz, so yeah. The question mark's already going out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like in the beginning of the year, I like to read a lesson about identity and just how identity is shaped. I learned in my graduate program the word intersectionality, right? And what that means is that it's those factors that intersect in your life or influence your life, right? And your perspective on things, right? Like, for example, I like to think of when I'm driving a car, if someone cuts me off is my first reaction going to be, oh, I'm angry, or it's going to be a competitive nature where you think, oh, I want to cut him off back or whatever, right? Or is it going to be a more compassionate sense where, oh, maybe he has emergency, right? So all those factors contribute to your identity and your personality, and I feel like that is what made me become an educator. The idea that that I can affect people's belief systems and in a positive way, and I continue to do that, and I like to start the class with just some perspective on life, right? And I always showed them something interesting to bring in the lesson. For example, I showed them how a brain cell works, right? If you see an image of a brain cell, it's actually moving to build another neuron, like to connect to another neuron, right? So like things like that, it fascinates them, and it gets the students intrigued, and like stories like that. I tell them stories like, for example, there's a person that during the 1952, back before then, no one ever ran a mile under running a mile at 6 minutes, right? And then after 1952, there's a person named Robert Bannister, he ran a mile under 4 minutes. He was the first person to do it, right? And a few years later, like hundreds and thousands of people started to do 4 minute mile. But why was that? Because he was the first one that set the belief, so that other people started to believe it, like, oh, I can actually do that because someone else did that, right? So a lot of the lessons that I like to incorporate is a lot of self-belief, self-improvement, and like interesting stuff like everyone wants to learn about. So that's what I contribute to Bravo's diversity. A little bit piece of positivity and just intrigue.
That was great, Mr. Zhao. And I'm going to give you a chance to also contribute, but I think we have a caller on the line who has a question. We have one of our students who has a question for us. So I'll go ahead and give her the chance.
So hi, I'm Jacqueline. I'm a junior. So my concern is, as you can see, Bravo has a pretty small and limited campus, especially for a medical high school that has around 1,800 students. I believe we have received little, like if not like no funding for any like major renovations for our campus, while other schools have continuously been given support from the district, such as Lincoln High School around here, who got 3 new school buildings in 2021. So we're one of the most high achieving high schools in LAUSD, and yet we don't get recognized enough, in my opinion. So imagine how much more we can do with the amount of funding that other schools get. So my question is, like, how has the lack of funding affect your performance as a staff member, and is there anything you plan on doing about it?
Great question. And I think it may be directed to the administration. So I think it affects us quite a lot. Just the fact that we have to use 8 classrooms or a set of classrooms at the occupational center and walk with students every day to and from 3 groups, and that an administrator, a campus aide, and teachers have to be effective in walking back and forth with those kids on a daily basis, takes away time for us to be able to do things here with the main campus. So that's one example. The fact that we don't have facilities for athletics, the fact that we don't have athletics facilities affects all of you, us also, in that we have to share a public space, and that means anyone and everyone can come into that public space and we don't have any control, unlike other high schools. And so there are many other ways in which the lack of facilities affect us on a daily basis. there was a group of staff and students who organized around that and petitioned and tried to lobby for more support from our previous board member. Unfortunately, we weren't successful, but our current board member, our new board member, Dr. Rivas, has been very supportive and has been listening to us. And so we hope to see some major changes in the near future. From the principal perspective, it would be kind of unfair for me to ask my two APs to contribute on that because they haven't been around for that. Although they are affected, Ms. Guerra has been going to the OC this week. So we take turns to do that. So Ms. Guerra is this week. Next week is me, I think.
It's your turn.
So we go through this cycle, and we take weeks to make sure that it's better.
I'd like to add in from the student side, which I know obviously you feel, the lack of facilities that we do have because of funding. It affects, I think in my eyes, it also affects our school spirit, specifically with sports, because we don't have like a soccer field or even a football field, which I feel like even without a football team, we should have spirit. But like the soccer games that are being played at different places instead of here at school, we can't like go to them without having to provide our own transportation, which kind of affects us in general because we don't have that ability as other students at other schools.
You're right, Samantha, and also keep in mind that a little bit less than half of our students come from communities outside of this community. So if they wanted to go see a game, they would have to travel even further from their home and find their own transportation back to their home. So that we're not like other schools that we are a community where most of our students live in the community. About half of our students live outside of this community, so that they are impacted quite a bit, yes. So I think we ran out of time. I wanted, I don't know if there's any last words that our guests would like to share, maybe a message to our students.
I definitely echo that sentiment as a alum, but Bravo also has a lot of great stuff that you don't find anywhere, right? I was at Wilson for the last year, and although I tell you it was fun having a football team and going to the games, like, you know everyone here. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Because as students, we know how that goes, right? But you have so many people to support you, and in a big school with countless facilities, sometimes you get lost. I felt like I was lost every single day I was at Wilson. I was almost there for a year. But I think that's what draws you back to Bravo. Like, that small town, that small school feel, it's different. So I really hope that despite, that you all are enjoying your stay here, because you do look back on this place, and I'll tell you one thing, this is where you want to be.
Yeah, I definitely feel it. My brother didn't go here. He went to Marshall, and I walked in there. He played on the basketball team, and I was like, whoa. Yeah. It's very big, and I feel like here it's small, but there are some cons, but I feel like there's also pros to being such a small school where like I hear about the teachers. I know most of the teachers that here, and I always see people just walking in the halls because it's so close knit that everybody's here. So I like it.
And I'm all for Bravo. I'm a knight at heart, and we don't mean to dash the mules and the barristers, but we do love our school. Yes, we
definitely.
do love our school. We do love our students, and we do love our teachers. It's a great place to be. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And again, just as a reminder, log in, check in, connect. Our podcast, the Good Night podcast, is published on YouTube. Check our YouTube channel, our Instagram page, our webpage, and Schoology, as usual. Thank you, everyone, and as usual, be a good night.
Have a good night.